colon cancer can quickly become deadly if it's not discovered early, and new research says that young adults are actually the ones most at risk. Very interesting. We've got doctors J.P. Hughes and Kyle Barnett in studio to talk about the dangers of colon cancer and someone who has lived through it, Roger Hansen. He's only 30 years old, but a colon cancer survivor. Thank you so much for being here, gentlemen.
Thank you.
First, let's talk about what is 80% by 2018.
It's the goal of the American Cancer Society. We're at 70% in Utah now, and in the next year we want to be up to 80%, focusing on the people who haven't yet had colon cancer or screening.
Why do you think it's important for the younger generation to get a colonoscopy? Because it used to just be, oh, that's something my parents do when they're aging.
That's right. We're finding more patients that have polyps earlier in life and more younger patients who have had colon cancer. And the awareness of it and the family history of it is really important.
Do you feel like it's something across the board where you're like, okay, everybody should be getting it at this age? Or are there symptoms that you should be watching for that maybe you know you should be getting one earlier?
Well, unfortunately, a lot of times patients don't have any symptoms, and so you have to be aware of your family history. You have to be aware of symptoms of bleeding, abdominal pain, change in your bowel habits. Those are things that should prompt evaluation, further evaluation.
Okay, and you took those steps. You went a step, went and got a colonoscopy. What prompted you to go in and get one?
There was a lot of different things. I was feeling super tired. I'd get home from work and I'd just hit the couch and just lay there instead of play with my kids like I usually did. Started getting dizzy. I'd mow the lawn and the world would start spinning and I'd have to sit down. It just took a lot for me. Finally, it took my wife kind of pushing me and urging me, saying, you need to get up and get it checked out and figure out what's wrong with you. If there's nothing wrong with you, then stop being lazy and let's get moving on with life. And so really it just took a lot of everything. I mean, there was just no warning. I was 30 years old. I had no thought of colon cancer at the time.
What was your reaction when you heard the words cancer?
I remember sitting in the room and the doctor had come in and he looked at my wife and said, you should sit down. This was right after I got out of getting my colonoscopy. She says, no, I'm good. She was standing by my side. He said, no, you need to sit. So she went and she sat down, and immediately I knew something was wrong. I just didn't know what. And then he looked at me and he handed me some pictures and he says, this thing right here is a very large tumor.
Wow.
You have colon cancer. And I remember just looking up and catching my wife's eyes, and they just started to fill with tears. And she started to cry immediately, and I thought, we both can't cry. So I did what I do best, and that's crack a joke, trying to lighten the mood. And the doctor's like, I don't think you're understanding. You have colon cancer. And at that point it kind of sunk in, and my thoughts were to my wife, my family, not necessarily myself at the moment, just what are the next steps.
You're probably so grateful that your wife gave you that nudge to go in and get a colonoscopy. Do you think that catching it early really made a big difference for Roger?
Absolutely, and that's one of the pushes for screening, because colon cancers, even if they're caught at an early stage, are curable. And if they're caught in the precancerous stage, which is the stage of polyps, then they can be removed and prevent the majority of colon cancers from developing. Are
you going so far as to say everyone should be getting this in their 30s? Everyone should be getting a colonoscopy in their 30s? Or are you still saying wait for those symptoms before you go in and get one?
Well, I mean, the current recommendations are to be screened at the age of 50 unless you have a family history or you have symptoms that suggest that. Now, with this new information about those that are born after 1990 have a 2 times incidence of development of colon cancer, a 4 times incidence of developing rectal cancer. There are some additional research studies that need to be done to see exactly when you need to be screened.
Those are some scary numbers to think about, aren't they?
They are.
It's kind of one of those things, though, that you think, I don't know, I don't really want to. I mean, it's not the funnest procedure, right? And you have to really step out of your comfort zone. If you could send a final message to our viewers about why this is important, what would you say?
Well, I would say that the overall incidence of colon cancer in your lifetime is 1 in 20.
Wow.
Pretty high. If you said that you had a chance to win the lottery and your chance was 1 in 20, you'd probably do that. So why gamble with your life? You really need to be screened.
Okay, and Roger, one last message for our viewers?
I would say just get it done. I know when they told me I need to get a colonoscopy, I'd push back. I didn't want to do it. I could think of all the jokes and everything else that my brothers and friends would be telling me. But essentially, just get it done. Whether it's whatever's stopping you, figure out a way to get through it. If it's money, if it's just not wanting to do it, there's other options. Reach out to places like the American Cancer Society or anybody else that's supporting the 80 by 2018 campaign that was mentioned earlier. There's help available. There's information and knowledge that you can get just by reaching out and asking.
And you are alive today because of that. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much for doing this.
We will list more information on our website if you'd like to learn more about it.